Hi guys, so welcome back to today's video. So on today's video, what's on the menu is the wiring of this trailer hitch, or a towbar as you might call it. We have to open up the boot because I had already routed out the wiring. The wiring is here. I had not finished it up, so this is what we need to look at today. So I'm sure you've seen how to get the wiring up to this point. So if you've not seen how to get the wiring up to this point, then you'll have to watch the previous video which I showed you everything on how to get to this point. So I'm not going to waste your time. So what we're going to do is to make sure that we sort this out. I think I need to take these pieces out because I can't see some of them, but I still have extras if I need extras. So before we start fiddling with this wiring, what we need to do is to take out this protective cover so that we can get to the wires which are hidden behind these covers right here. So that's what we need to do right now. So we're gonna do this side because the wiring comes from underneath this side on this, is it the left? Yes, on the left side of the car. So we're gonna have to take out what's on this side. On this side, what we'll need to do is to take out the cover so that we can get the right indicator light. But for now, this is the most important part today. There's this clip. This is the first clip that you need to take out. Then there's another clip right here. This is another clip that you also need to take out. So the first thing to do is to remove this cover. This cover can be taken out by simply prying out on this rubber. Then after prying out on the rubber, you need to get to the bottom of it and just pull out from this clip right here. For doing that, I may need to open up this rear cover like this. Then after opening the rear cover, as you can see right here, you can simply pull this out by just lifting it up and then opening it like this. Then lift up the other side as well, then open it up like that. So that is off. The crackling sound is not it breaking, it's just it coming off. It is out. We're going to leave it right here. So these are the wires that we'll need to tap onto. But for now, before we get onto these wires, what we need to do is to remove these covers. So we've taken out the other side of the cover. Now we have this part right here which you'll need to remove with your prying tools. So here are my prying tools. So I think I may need to take this one out. I think this works best. Then do it like that. This clip is just a clip which is held in by a clip which can be turned by a flat blade screwdriver. Hopefully you can still see everything because I don't want to hide anything from you. Okay. That was very tough. The clip came out and it's very difficult to take it out. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure if you can see it, I could have used this tiny Allen key like this to take out the screwdriver. But I couldn't think of that because the way it seemed to me, it didn't seem like it's something that can be taken out with the Allen keys. Now that you've watched this video, you will know that you can take out the screwdriver just like this. If you can check, there's a clip right here that you need to slide back. So you just need to slide this back and it falls on here and it holds. So now that this clip has been slid back, can try to move this onto the side and try removing it and see how things go from there. As you can see, the cover does come out, just needs a little bit of convincing and finessing, but yeah, it does come out. So let me just put the phone on the side, take everything out, then remove this cover. So you may need to drop a seat a bit so that you can be able to just pull it to the side, just like this, and expose all these wires. The journey continues now. Like I told you, this car had a rear end, and as you can see from this side, they even forgot some screws in here. This is a screw which was forgotten inside here when they were repairing the car. They even forgot this paper. Do you see this paper with the paint? They even forgot it. So what we need to do is to find the ground connection. Already, if you can look at this point right here, we found ourselves a ground connection. So we're gonna go there for our ground connection, and we're gonna come onto the side for the lights and the rest of the stuff that we need. So let's take out our wiring. Here is our wiring. I just can't see where I've put the rest of the wiring. Let me just look for the rest of the wiring because there's a box which needs to go onto this. Okay, so now I'm back with the rest of the wiring stuff that I need. So this is the control box that I bought. No, I didn't buy it. I got it when I bought the trailer. So these are the banks or the tapping wires. In South Africa, a ground is called earth. So F is ground. So here's F. That's what we need to get over there. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. This came loose. This is now loose. As you can see, here's the bolt right here. So you don't need to remove anything, you just need to make sure that you get your earth connection in. The earth connection is in. Now get back the bolt inside. Make sure that this is tight, because if it's not tight, then that means you're going to have a current connection. So lefty loosey, righty tight. Okay, that is tight. So if you can see on this wiring here, the power cable has a fuse, so that if something bends up, then you don't have to bend your whole car. Only that thing that's going to bend will be the only thing that's bent. So what needs to happen right now, because we've already gotten the ground, is to get the 12 volt supply. This cable right here is the 12 volt supply. On these cables all right here, there's one which is supplying 12 volts, so we'll need to tap onto it and get the 12 volts to supply this control module right here. So what we need to do is to make sure that we see which one is supplying 12 volts by checking the voltage using this multimeter. So I'm thinking the one which supplies the 12 volts is this one, this cable right here with the reddish. This is the one that supplies the 12 volts. So what we need to do to be able to test it is disconnect this connector, then turn on the key on the car and test with using a multimeter and see which one is giving us the 12 volts. If you can see right here, this wire right here, this is the one which is giving us 12 volts. As you can see right now, we do get the 12 volts from this wire. There we go. So wire number 3 right here is the one we need to use to get the 12 volts. So this is the one that I'm going to put this 12 volts wire onto. So this connector right here was very difficult for me to remove, because the last time you saw the video was when I was trying to put this connector out. So what I had to do was to lift this up, then pull this back. So I was not able to do it while filming because it took so much time for me. So now we're going to put that 12 volts on there. So when we trace back the number 3 wire, which gives us power, this is the wire we end up with right here. So we're going to tap onto this wire and make sure that we put our 12 volts onto it. So the wire that you want to tap goes on from this side. I'll show you how to do it properly. Then the wire that we need to tap goes in from this side until it reaches the bottom end. Then we push down on this connector. Then we push down just like that. Then what you need to do after doing that is just close up this connector. Then we've closed up. So what we can do right now to test whether we do have 12 volts right here is just to unplug this and see from the prongs when we do get the 12 volts. Okay, the control unit is off. So here's my multimeter. Let me put the first one on ground, and then we put the next one on 12 volts. So I'm going to then turn on the car and see 12 volts is on the bottom one. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Let me just start up the car and see if we have 12 volts. Based on the reading on the multimeter, we do have ground. There is me putting on the prong onto the positive one. Here is a good ground right here. This is the ground prong. So we do have a good ground. We do have 12 volts. Now what we need to do is just to probe out the rest of the wiring. Now we're going to go for the brake lights. After the brake lights, the indicators. After the indicators, the lights themselves. Then we'll be done. So we're going to unplug this. To remove the connector is very simple, because what you need to do is just to make sure that you pull back on this tab and then pull out. You pull back on this tab like this, then the plug will come out. Just like that. So if you can look at this connector right here, there are numbers on this connector. Here are the numbers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is ground, 2 is the indicators, 3 is the tail lights, and 4 is the brake lights. I'll confirm further and write on the screen, but I think this is the indicator, This is the tail lights and this is the brake lights, but I'll confirm with you on the screen. Now we need to splice these wires. These wires are quite long, so I'm just going to cut them up. So just to confirm again, black and white on the left is the indicator, gray black on the left is the tail light, and the black and red is the brake light, just like I told you. So scotch connector, we're looking for the tail lights right now. So for the tail lights is the gray and black. Gray and black is the tail light. So now everything has been scotch locked together. Now what we need to do is just to put back the tail light, just like that. And then I'm thinking before I put this on, I can just put a tape around this just to make sure that nothing goes on top of this. Then I'm going to then plug back the light. Taped out everything, and now I think this is good. What I can do is just to put on the connector back onto the light. Now what we need to do is check if everything is still intact. Indicator lights are on, red light is on, so I think we are good. So what's left right now is the right indicator light. So on the right indicator light, we're going to find the same cables right here, which are going on to the right light over there. So we don't need to go over there, we can only go over here and find the right indicator light and then tap the scotch connector on, then we're done. So we're gonna put this back after when we're done. So right now, let me just find the right indicator light. For the indicator on the right side, we're looking for black and green. So as you can see, this cable has some green in it and it's saying right indicator. So here we're looking for black and green. So from these cables, I'm gonna undo all this tape and then just look for the black and green. Okay, so black and green, we found you. What we need to do is just to put a scotch connector in and then do the rest. Okay, so the scotch connector is in. Now the green indicator light now has to go in. Fasten up the scotch connector. This is in. Now what we need to do is just to close it up. That is now closed up, and now I think we can just make sure that we tape this up as well. Okay, now that's it. So what we're going to do right now is just to make sure that we sort out the cabling, make sure that all is good. So to prevent some chaffing on these wires, what I'm going to do is to put this thing on here. So for the second option of power supply, what you need to do is to first remove these clips right here. You're going to remove that cover over there, remove everything that's on that compartment. Then after that, you will see some two clips at the top, just like at the left hand side. This is the first one that I'm removing. Then there's the second one at the deep end. You also need to remove that clip. So this is me checking whether there's power on the rear cigarette lighter or the 12 volt supply. So indeed there is power because you can see this blue light right here. Then after that, open up the rear lights compartment and remove it so that it can be easier for the rear cover to get off. Then after that, we'll expose the 12 volt socket. So all you need to do is to make sure that you unplug the 12 volt socket just like that. After unplugging the 12 volt socket, also unplug the light plug. Then right now I'm just taking my multimeter. As you can see right there, I want to check which one is supplying the 12 volt socket. So before you do this, you'll just need to make sure that you get a good ground. After getting a good ground, you'll then make sure that you put on the probes onto the socket or onto the connector. Then you'll see which one is supplying 12 volts. Then as you can see right there, we have 12 volts and the 12 volts is coming from the black and red wire. So that is where we're going to tap onto. So as you can see right there, it's black and red or black and purple. Anyway, it's just two cables. The other one is ground and the other one is the power supply. So whether it's black or purple or black or red, that is the one that is going to be power supply. So for reliable power, I make sure that I solder the wire. Then after soldering the wire, I'm just going to put these heat shrinks. And after putting these heat shrinks, then I'm going to go back and route the wire on the car. Now we're back on the car. I've also taped up the connection. Now I'm just putting on the scotch connector onto the power supply cable. I'm just splicing it up right now just to make sure that everything is tidy and clean, and we need consistent power, so we need to make sure that everything is spliced up. What we need to make sure right now is just to tape it up so that nothing can interfere with the power on that 12-volt supply, because anything on the body of the car, it's a ground, so we don't want to have the positive touching against the ground. So I'm just taping it up for that reason. After doing that, what I'm going to do is just to make sure that I route the cable very nicely and make sure that it gets to the other side so that we can be able to connect the 12 volts onto the trailer control unit. Now that everything is done, what we can do right now is just to plug back the 12 volt sockets. That is done. Now what we need to do as well is to plug back the rear trunk light, as you can see. Now I've routed the wire from the back all the way. Now I'm just putting back the rear cover. Also, make sure that you cover this wire with whatever you can. So I've covered mine with this white tape-like thing, which makes sure that the wire is not going to be getting chaffed. Now the connection has been scotch locked, as you can see. What we need to do again is just to confirm that we still have the 12 volts. So you need to get a good ground. After getting a good ground, you can see that we do have the 12 volt supply as I touch on the fuse. So we still have power. Now we can make sure that we finalize our connections. Now that there's power, you can see that the trailer control unit is now working as it turned on lights. The issue is that we can't see it really well. So now I'm indicating to turn left. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's an indicator right there. Say turn left. The reason I can't take out the control unit is because already it's bolted in here, so I don't want to mess things up. But as you can see, the control unit is saying turn left. If you can see right here, it's just at the top, just that it's difficult for me to see because there's not enough space here. But as you can see, turn left is indicating. Turn left is indicating on the car. So now I'm going to go on turn right. Now we're going on to turn right. As you can see, turn right there. And we come back in here. Turn right. As you can see, the indicator is indicating as well. So I'm not able to do the brake lights because my wife is not here to help me with that. But as you can see, that's the control unit working. This is working. So that's how you do the lights. Now you can turn off the lights, and we're not going to see anything. Lights are off. The control unit is also off as well. So that's how you wire up a trailer on a VW Jetta 5. So as you can see, everything's good. The wires are well put on. Nothing's going to mess up anything. So we're just going to leave this as it is right now. So just going to make sure that this goes in nicely. So that's it, guys. That's how you wire up a trailer. So what I'm going to do right now is to close up everything, and we'll be good. Now the clips are back on. There's the first one. There's the second one right there. And then this is the third one. And this is the third one right here. So that's it on how to wire a VW Jetta 5 trailer wiring. So if you like this video, please kindly like the video, and until next time, we out.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.